How's it going, folks? It's pre-intro Jack here, just to let you guys know that I have opened up a merch store in partnership with High Score Tees. There are shirts, hoodies, mugs and more available with global shipping options. Make sure to check it out at the top of the description. Your support is really appreciated and it does help to continue to produce content here on the channel. Anyway, without further ado, shall we get into today's episode? It is a big one. Let's do this. What is going on, guys? Jack here and welcome back to episode number 50 of Park to Prem here with Nottingham Forest. The reason that we're on my manager profile is not to look at my face, it's just to remind you there was an episode yesterday. I know how YouTube subscriptions can be. If you did miss it, it was the end of the league season. Today we've got the Europa League final against Bayern Munich. I'm hoping that we're going to get a good little result against them. Just to refresh your minds of where we are at, this is how we left things. One game left of the season. It's a big one. It's a game, though, that I really feel like we should be winning if we can, well, play to the level that we've displayed this year. This Bayern Munich team is very good. Don't get me wrong. They've got very good players like Shabab Babaye here. What a fantastic name that is. He is an absolutely tremendous right mid. How does he compare to Erk? It's interesting, actually. We've both got very similar key players. Where are you, Erk? Where are you? There he is. Is he better than Erk? I don't think he is. And while speaking of Erk, before we get into today's game, a little bit of admin. I say admin, it's a bit of a distraction really. Awards! The end of season Premier League awards came through as well as some records. Erk has broken the record for most player of the matches in a season. He got 13 in the end, which isn't too bad for a player who was miserable all year. You have to wonder how he might have performed if he was happy. Also worth noting, he won English Footballer of the Year, he won English Players Player of the Year, he won English Young Player of the Year. He won all the awards, everyone. He's just very good, except actually he didn't win the Golden Glove, nor did he win the Golden Boot, which went to Gonzalez. 31 goals in 31 games. Just a shame he got that injury towards the tail end of the season. He could have been in with setting a Premier League record number of goals in the season. Also, we won Premier League Manager of the Year. I would have been very offended if I didn't win this one, to be fair. I mean, have we won it before? No. Frank Lampard's won it a couple of years. In fact, it always seems to go to the team that won the league, interestingly enough, except from one year where the Brighton manager won it. I'm not going to question that. Anyway, it's a big game today. It's a big day. We're going to have this game against Bayern Munich. We're going to get into it. We're going to win it, obviously. And then from there, we're going to have the typical end-of-season roundup, a bit of a reflection and look towards next season where I think we have to target winning the league again and, of course, winning the Champions League. How hard can it be? Not very, I hope. Just looking at the team news, you can see here, unfortunately for us, Van Dijk and David Lind both out injured. Neither of them passed a fitness test, I don't think, or did Lind? Yeah, he didn't even get to do the fitness test. He wasn't ready. Basically, a centre mid issue is ongoing. You can see here, Smith, Ricketts, big moments for these guys. Ricketts' contract expires at the end of next year. We are tabling an offer to him. So hopefully he's going to stick around. He's been pretty good for us this year. And of course, it is nice to see Adrian Smith, a player who started at this club, still playing for this club. Of course, he was with us way back in 2026-27 when we took over. And over the last few years, he's been an ever-present part of the team. This year, slightly more of a background role, I suppose. But when he has played, he's played pretty blooming well, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, elsewhere in the team, Vlad Bayana coming back from injury is just about fit enough to play. And besides that, I think we're good. I mean, defensively, full strength back five. That is what I think we have to build a win upon here. And hopefully we're going to do it here. You can see the squad, lots of green links except Bayana out on the right. Him and Sampaio, they don't see eye to eye in the dressing room. But no, I'm feeling a little bit nervous for this game, actually. I feel like the injuries at centre mid are a problem. Also, and I should have considered this, there's no limitation on the number of subs on the bench here. Actually, that's technically not true. You're allowed 12 subs, but with all the injuries we've got, we can only just fit 12 players on the bench anyway. Right, it's a big day, everyone. Perhaps the biggest cup final we've been involved in so far. No disrespect to the Carabao Cup. No disrespect to the FA Cup. They're nice. Today, I want to win the treble. And you can see here, Thomas Tuchel is their manager. Hopefully, I was about to try and come up with a pun with his name. I don't have a pun, everyone. If you can come up with a pun to do with Thomas Tuchel, please let me know it down in the comments. Anyway, looking at their team here, their star man is their right winger. Their top goal scorer is Antonio. He's very, very quick, isn't he? He's got the media description, pacey hitman. I mean, I hope he's not going to be killing us out on the pitch. But no, their team looks pretty good. Their only real player left in their team, by the way, is Thales Magno, Brazilian left attacking mid. He's only 29. He's got a few years left in him. But yeah, they're Regen Central. They've lost their previous 2 games before this. I think in the Bundesliga, they've been a little bit hit and miss. So hopefully today, we're going to hit them. And while 2 minutes into this game, instantly a highlight. Worth noting, this is the first video recorded on the new computer, everyone. And additionally, I do have a new microphone. So if I sound different, that's what it is. What's just happened there? Navio's blocked it. I think that shot was going in, you know. That was bizarre. Oh, and also, new computer, 60 FPS videos, everyone. It's smooth as butter. Yeah, hopefully there's a nice noticeable difference in the overall quality of things. And, well, hopefully the same quality is going to be shown on the pitch, of course. 10 minutes gone. They've had that very early highlight. And now Ricketts has got injured. I don't have more centre mids, everyone. I'm running out of centre mids. I think the only option I have, really, is Matty, who isn't really a Mazzala. I mean, he can play Mazzala. It's Matty, or it's Cameron Ferguson. I didn't want a dilemma like this early on. I'll level with you, everyone. This was not on the to-do list. I think I'm going to go with Cameron Ferguson. Matty is perhaps the better rounded player, but I think Ferguson as a Mazzala is the better fit here. For a player who's featured very sparingly in the first team this year, in the league and in cups, I feel a bit bad for Ferguson. He's been thrown in at the deep end here, but maybe he can make himself a cult hero. Or maybe, just maybe, this is not a final for us. Mass! He smashes it into the top corner. Keeper didn't even move. I thought he was going to shoot the free kick. He took it short. The ball found its way back to him. Our defender's just chasing the ball. He skips past one. Who is that there? Ferguson, you've got to be tougher, man. Smashed into the top corner by Mass. Disappointing. Perhaps doesn't quite cut the start of this game. They've had 2 great opportunities. They've taken one of them. We've had an injury to Ricketts. Right, so I'm discussing giving him a new contract. And while in the first half an hour, we've been second best in this game. And that does kind of sting to say just a little bit. That said, we're growing into the game. Some players are, well, doing okay. And well, we've got a Navio long throw here. It's launched forward. Miguel Antonio can't quite get there. Morgan on it. Now the ball lumped forward. Can we win the header here? Sampaio forward to Poyana. Poyana, by the way, only fit for 75 minutes. We may test that out as the ball's threaded through to Urk. Hits the woodwork, gets the rebound. Let's go, Kursat Urk. Who was that who put the... Was that Ferguson who assisted that? The pass through to Urk here was unreal. If it was Ferguson, you're forgiven, son. Ball was knocked around. It wasn't Ferguson. It was Smith, everyone. On his weaker right foot. Urk just does a little 1-2 with the post. I think he meant to do that. The number 7 tucks it away into the bottom corner. He points back at the name on the back of his shirt. I am hoping, and unfortunately winning the Premier League wasn't enough to achieve this, but I am hoping if we can win the Europa League, maybe we can convince Urk to sign a new contract with us. Convince him that PSG isn't where he needs to go. Gonzalez threaded through, shoots, blocked. I think on that occasion it was Ferguson with the ball through. We are creating opportunities here. We are ending the second half the better of the 2 teams. Smith whips it in. Piotr, free header. Straight into the hands of Morgan. I'll tell you what, it's been an action-packed first half, and after they started the game strong, we definitely came alive. Going to tell the players I'm far from happy and then remind them that I do believe they've got what it takes. Unfortunately, with some of the injuries we've not really got options on off the bench. A lot of those options have been removed from us. Van Dijk, Lind, Ricketts, loads of centre mids injured for us. It's been tough. Anyway, first 15 minutes of this half have been quiet, but now it's Bayern Munich on the attack. Mass, the goal scorer for them with the ball in the wide area. Urk tries to put in a tackle. That is not his forte. VL now with it inside to Mass. Nice play by them. Antonio has it. And that was not very far wide. I mean, Toby seemed confident that he knew the dimensions of his goal. I was less so. I'm going to bring in Ionu for Poyana. Bjorn not going to last the whole game. He's not had a great match either, and he's now on a booking. Also, I'm going to try and encourage the players here. Look at the smiley faces. We've got a corner. Where's Piotr's head? It's not there. Have another go at finding it, Skips past his man, whips it in. Ionu hits the woodwork twice. How did he do that? How did he... I mean, he's kicked at the post once and then kicked at it again. We've got a chance here, though. But whipped in. Piotr heads over. Chance after chance after chance here towards the end. We've now got a free kick with Smith. Oh, my word. It's like a flurry of punches right now. Can Bayern Munich... Can they shrug them off? Can they keep in this game? We've got them on the ropes, it feels like, but we need to find that knockout blow that a goal would provide. Miguel Antonio, Smith, Navio now with it. Inside to Silva. Smith with it again. Plays it down to He's got a bit of space in the channel. Whips in. Gonzalez is there. He heads it goalwards. He punches the air. With the assist. 2-1, and we deserve that. We were very slow starting, but we got a bit shouty. And the players have responded here. Smith, ball through to pulls it back, and it's Gonzalez having to backpedal a bit. The cross wasn't a great one, but in the end it found the back of the net, the header. And, well, I feel like we deserve this, but it's not over yet. There's more highlights to come, everyone. This is a final for the ages as it's whipped back post. Piotr heads it away. Ionu, now on the break. It's a 2-on-2. He's fresh-legged as well. He's just come on off the bench. Skips past everyone, and... that wasn't quite the finish that I envisaged at the end of that run. I will level with you. That was a little bit of a disappointment. Anyway, it's time to time waste, everyone. It's time to just slow the game down slightly. 5 minutes left for us to hold on. Can we secure a Europa League, or is this going further? There's a highlight. Heads it away, but it's going to come... I was thought to Mass, but no, Gonzalez chasing back to deal with it. Now with it, nods it to Smith. They are committing men forward. We can hit them on the break here and potentially double our lead. Smith down the left-hand side, tackled by his man. Mendonça with the tackle. He now lumps it forward. End-to-end stuff here. Tired legs. The big ball through to Toby. Toby. Don't kick it at the attacker, my friend. That's all I ask. Navio. The centre-back, come left-back. This year he's made this position his own. He whips it goalwards. Gonzalez. It falls to Cameron Ferguson. It's his first goal of the season. Make of it what you will. Make of it what you will. Would Owen Ricketts have scored it? We may never know. But surely that goal from the young Scotsman is going to be the one that secures us the Europa League here. Navio whips it in. It's headed away. Ferguson, though, instinctive finish on his left foot into the top corner on the volley. And with a matter of minutes left, we deserve this win. We've dominated this match at XG, dwarfed theirs. And despite a little bit of a slow start, we did regain control. And well, Piotr, my friend, it is the treble, everyone. Carabao Cup, Premier League, Europa League. Hoist that trophy, Piotr. Hoist it aloft. Party the night away, lads. Look at the dance moves being shown by some of the players there. It's delightful. And, well, the all too familiar sight of red and white confetti rains from the sky. Oh, my word. It was not exactly plain sailing, but I do think we deserve that on balance. Slow to get started, but once we did get started, what an incredible performance. I didn't notice if Toby did his iconic cartwheel. Feels like it's something that he always does. It's like it's the same cutscene that plays out every time. But I choose to believe it's his cartwheel. Right, I've been asked by Graham about winning the Euro Cup. You know what? I don't care, Graham. I've not talked to you when I was losing. I didn't talk to you media folk when I was at Boston or when I was at Lincoln. Nothing's going to change that even now. Victorious Nottingham Forest celebrate a famous treble. Oh, and I mean, got man of the match. Can you really be surprised? How bad is the injury for Ricketts? I mean, his contract expires next year, and it's quite a big payday. Would it be immoral of me to just withdraw the contract offer of 100,000? Or do we stick with him? 6 to 7 months out with a cruciate ligament injury. Oh, it's not good, everyone. It's not. That's kind of taken the shine off the win just a little bit. 28 medals to be dished out to players who were involved. Worth noting, Anthony Healey. Well done, mate. You get one. Not sure how you've managed to do that, but you've blagged yourself a medal. I hope you're happy. Nottingham Forest fans sang WorkTheSpace's name as the manager inspired their team to lift the Euro Cup. I don't quite know how the name WorkTheSpace can fit into a chant, so if you've got any suggestions, let me know them down in the comments. You can see here, obviously, the board delighted with a win there. A few players need rests. Lads, you can have rests all summer now. And Irk, I know you hate me, and I know you're miserable, but I'm proud of you there. For a player who hates big matches, he did pretty well in the Europa League final. That's all I've got to say on the matter. Oh, right. Well, I think we're going to get the end of season ceremony in just a second where we can look through everything. But you can see here, big prize money and, well, TV money paid out, which is what we want to see. I hope that we are never in this competition again. No disrespects to the Europa League. It's just a case of, I feel like we're a Champions League team at this point. I think next season to try and match this achievement of this season is going to be tough. I think the Premier League is going to be an infinitely harder division to win this coming year. But you know what? We should savour the moment. And I think now we have a target, right? I want to go far in the Champions League. I want to try and win multiple Premier Leagues. I want to match that Chelsea legacy. And we have got a very, very young squad to try and achieve that. Anyway, if we look at the new arrivals, in terms of transfers in, Boyer, 56 million, flop. No denying it. Didn't hit the ground running, really didn't shine, which is a bit of a shame. I mean, if we just sort here by average rating, you can see here, Leek was the biggest addition in terms of new signings. He, of course, joined us from Newcastle. Bit of a squad player more than anything, but whenever he came on and played, he slotted in a whole variety of positions, mostly at right back. And, well, he did the job for us, the versatile centre-back. Elsewhere, a few other players who we signed did pretty well. Obviously, Miguel Antonio, I think he draws the short straw of being a ball-winning midfielder and a defensive midfielder in the system. You'd never really get a great average rating with that. If we just sort by appearances, you can see here, he is the new addition who played the most games. Elsewhere, Kelvin Gibbons, he made 20 appearances. I feel like that went a tad under the radar. He's a very, very good, I feel like, backup ball-winning midfielder. In fact, he's a very specialist ball-winning midfielder. He's great at this role. Anything else, he doesn't have a clue how to do it. But when we called upon him, you know what? He contributed. He did his bit. He was a reason of the success this year. In terms of transfers out, you can see here some of the big name sales and the kind of money we received for them. Why are they're not sorting correctly by price? I mean, why would I expect them to sort correctly by price? You can see here Dr. Medj had a really, really good year at Hertha Berlin, but 52 million was too much to refuse. Marcelo had a bit of a breakout year at Udinese in Serie A. Don't know how to feel about that. He hasn't actually improved that much as a player, but he put in some pretty good numbers for them, so fair play to him. It's going to be interesting to see sort of our former men performing quite well. And Alex Mighton, it turns out he is still a championship player, everyone. Who would have thought? On the whole, though, lots of the players we sold performing well, which I don't know if that makes me feel like, man, why did I sell them? Or if that should give me a warm, fuzzy feeling of, well, we developed them, now we've profited from them, and they're now still performing well. I'm conflicted. Either way, Premier League trophy hoisted aloft. You can see here we ended top of the league, tied with Wolverhampton Wanderers. Just as a reminder, 82 points wasn't the kind of points total that frequently would win you a Premier League trophy. So we are going to have to be better this coming year. We were selling out on the regular. We've got a new stadium on the way. The board are delighted. And to be fair, this league season had such a great stretch in the mid part that even when the going got a bit tough and we started to draw a few more games than I would like, we were always kind of in it to win it. This stretch of games, really, from Boxing Day through to the start of February was just such a great run for us. I think something like 8 wins in 9 games. That was what we built a platform off. Of course, Europa League, we won. Here are some of the teams we beat along the way. We cruised through the group stages, knocked out Tottenham, knocked out Porto, knocked out Bayern Munich in the final. An A+ from the board. It's the first A+ I've ever got in my life, everyone. Let's not talk about the FA Cup. That doesn't... Ignore that. Carabao Cup, we're blooming brilliant. We knocked out a lot of the big boys. We were drawn against a number of Premier League teams. And of course, that memorable win against our local rivals in the final was a nice one to remember. Our biggest win was a 6-1 FA Cup win against Birmingham. Match to remember was apparently a 2-1 win against Chelsea. Which is the game, I think, where Toby turned into just an absolute god. So, yeah, thank you, Toby. That was one of the better games in terms of a goalkeeping performance in an episode. Goal of the season Went to Poyana, which was a solo strike. I wish, feature request please Sports Interactive, I should be able to just click and watch the goal somewhere here. That'd be FM22. Get it down in the feature list, Miles Jacobson. Get it jotted down. I want to be able to click and see the goal. Either way, club reputation now is at worldwide. Hopefully that is going to help us attract players going into the new year and maybe convince one or two players it might just be worth sticking it out at the club and hanging around. In terms of how we lined up this year, apparently this was our go-to 11, which feels a little bit odd to say because obviously Smith and Ricketts aren't normally our starting centre mids. It would normally be Lind and Van Dijk. I guess the right attacking mid position was one up for grabs this year. Sometimes it was Boyer, other times it was Ionu, and other times it was Poyana. It was a bit of a free-for-all there. We did rotate things quite extensively. You can see here, goals scored, 40 for Gonzalez in all competition, 19 for Erk, I feel like goes a little bit under the radar. I don't feel like I've bigged him up enough. Maybe because I'm just resentful of the fact that he's just unhappy at the club. But no, Erk seriously has just been a player who's kind of irreplaceable at this point. He's on a long-term contract. We don't need to sell him. So if he wants to stay miserable but continue to perform like this, I'm quite fine with that. You can see here we won the Manager of the Month on a few occasions as well as Manager of the Year. Gonzalez broke the record for most goals by a player in a season with 40. He also broke the record for most goals by a player in a league match with 4. And Erk got most player of the matches in a season with 16. Speaking of which, unsurprisingly, he won Young Player of the Season, Fans Player of the Season. He got the most assists. He got the most player of the matches. Poyana, goal of the season. Signing of the season apparently was Boyer. I feel like the fans are seeing something to what I'm saying. Who's voted for that? Is that a fan-voted thing or have we decided that? Because that's incorrect. And, in terms of competition awards here, you can see Erk dominating English football, winning pretty much all the Player of the Year awards he could win, as well as Young Player of the Year. And, of course, Poyana, European Golden Boy. History in the making as well. Look at all those trophies. It brings a tear to my eye. What a fantastic season. Undoubtedly the best season of Park to Prem so far, this year at least, in FM21, in terms of achievements. In terms of the overall best 11, of course, a lot of these players predate me taking over because the save game's been going on for 12 years and we've only been here for 6 of those 12 years. There were 6 years before we arrived. This Nottingham Forest team, but actually when you look at it, a lot of these players are our own. The only ones who I don't recognise are Worrell, who looks kind of average, although he is 35, and then Carvalho as well, who again, 35. All these old players, the old generation, get them out the team, get the new boys in. Samake, Smith, Ricketts, Erk, Regina at right back. It hurts to see. He played 18 games in the league, so I guess he got rotated a fair bit this year. Not sure 1 assist in 2 years is £190 million, but who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Season review, it was a good year. That's the review. It's as simple as that. Statistically, we were aggressive and clinical. Apparently, we were quite quiet, but a little bit leaky. I don't like being leaky. We'll put a diaper on for next season. In terms of club vision for this coming year, play attacking football, develop players using the club's youth system. Nothing too new going on here. Interesting to note, part of the 5-year plan is to increase commercial reputation. So we're going to need to be signing players who bring a merchandising boost. And of course, just trying to, I guess, excel the club's reputation as a whole. Interesting to note that the aim for next season, apparently at least right now, although these do tend to change, as I'm sure you've experienced yourself, is to qualify for the Euro Cup. My target, challenge for the title again, even though I know it is going to be a really, really tough one. I wonder if I tell the players here to go for the Europa League that they'll be happy. They are. That's the ambition that I don't want to see. Let's look to reach the knockouts as well of the Champions League. Any promises? Give youth a chance. Excellent. That's enough promise. Everyone's so happy. It's the best team meeting I've ever done, everyone. You can see here. Apparently this is our new season team report. Why is Bohak considered our best left winger? Football manager, please. Please fix it. I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on here. In terms of injuries this year, of course, Casanova has a fractured skull. So he wins the award for being the player injured for the longest. He's slowly coming back from it. Apparently his stamina has shot up with his fractured skull. Everything else has gone down. I have no idea what's happening there. Either way, we did have our fair share of injuries this year. I think that would be fair to say. In terms of percentage of season missed, it wasn't actually that bigger, I suppose, chunks of the season that were missed through injuries. It just felt like all our injuries came at the same time and at quite critical moments. Hopefully, however, that is something that we're going to be able to, well, alleviate going into next year. The Golden Boot award for the Euros didn't go to one of our players, so we'll just ignore that. In terms of the Euro Cup squad of the season, Piotr, Silva and Van Dijk were selected in it. Two of our defenders in a back three. I wonder why they went with a 3-4-3. What a weird choice for the formation for this squad. But no, nice to see three of our players in it, including Van Dijk, who of course sadly wasn't available for the final. And I feel like I've not bigged him up really enough here. Cameron Ferguson, you scored in a Europa League final, son. 21 years old. He's played 8 games for us in the Premier League ever. None of them were this year. But you know what? Cometh the man, cometh the moment. Maybe he's just thrown himself into Nottingham Forest cult. What's the word I'm looking for? Folklore, not culthood or something. Folklore. He's in the folklore of the club, everyone. Words are hard. No, what a fantastic season, though. I mean, when you look across the squad here, it was just a big team performance. Lots of goals coming from lots of players. Whilst we were reliant on Gonzalez, when Boyer didn't perform, and indeed when other injuries happened, players stepped up. Players like Poyana, Ionu, Amlo. The fact that 3 players who I wouldn't necessarily have had down in my best 11 at the start of the year got in excess of 10 goals. That kind of tells you a lot, I think, about what their level of performance was like. Adrian Smith with 13 assists, by the way. That's gone under the radar. Who knows? Maybe he'll be fighting for a first-team spot going into next year now. I feel like, I don't know, maybe Lind and Van Dijk need to watch out in that area of the pitch. It's a weird, right? I look at this team now. It's such a young squad that we've got lots of players in their early 20s, lots of potential to be fulfilled as well. I feel like in terms of signings, there's not really an obvious point on the pitch to address. Maybe a bit more squad depth in the defence, but even then, I'm relatively happy. I think one of the big things actually is going to be managing contracts. We've got a few players with contracts expiring next year, a few of players expiring the year after that, but there is going to be, I think, some significant rises in demands from players. You can see here how much some of the big earners are, now making, just for a little bit of, I suppose, what's the word I'm looking for? Context. Obviously, you've seen Ricketts signing a new deal. That's going to be, I think, £105,000 a week. Amlo's contract's up at the end of next year. Obviously, he wants to be an important player. I can't make him an important player because he's not important. But if I wanted to, he wants £150,000 a week. Now, there's part of me that wants to extend his contract now, but then I might not be able to sell him. Whereas his current value is £66 million. I do wonder if it's worth cashing in on him. The thing is, as a backup, he'd still be a pretty good option maybe for a year or two. So maybe the correct approach is to renew his contract, make sure that we don't just lose him on a free, and then from there look to sell him on. But you can see here, he is so hell-bent on getting £150,000. I cannot pay him that kind of... I cannot pay him £150,000, everyone. I can't make a player who isn't starting all that many games a year. He started 17 games. Some players started more than double that. I can't make him the second highest earner at the club. I mean, I've still got some questions to ask myself over whether or not I need to do something with Boyer. Does he need a bit of patience? Do we need to tweak the role of the right-hand-sided player in this system to try and get more out of him? But I feel like ultimately at 22 years old, he's not really justified his wage so far at the club. That said, there is still plenty of time. He's 22. It may be another Gonzalez situation where we tweak some stuff and suddenly we've got a completely reinvigorated player for the following season. In terms of our actual finances, £178 million in the bank gives us a ton of flexibility. If there was one area of the pitch where I might go sign a player, maybe it's a centre-back. I feel like Sampaio at right-back has shown some good progress this year. I realise there's a little bit of irony in that as I check on him and there's loads of little red arrows in the physical department. Navio at left-back at this point is just one of the world's best left-backs. I absolutely detest the fact he's inconsistent. I detest the fact he's injury-prone. But there's no denying that when he's fit and when he's playing well, he's comfortably one of the best left-backs in the world. It's a bit of a weird situation for him. I suppose. He's so quick. He's so great physically. Defensively, he is outstanding. Yes, crossing, dribbling off the ball, they could all be a little bit better. I mean, at the moment, he's still improving, so who knows how much better he could end up being. I think at £1.1 million, he probably goes down as one of the better transfers we've been able to make over the years, regardless of what you think. I think centre mid-wise we're okay. Striker-wise, I've got really good young players coming through. I feel like if I wanted to add 1 or 2 players of really big quality, maybe a centre-back to replace Silva with. I mean, Silva's very good. He's just, inconsistent, bit of a weird polygon. It doesn't look that aesthetically pleasing, does it? And obviously, Toby in goal has been great this year, so it feels a bit harsh to replace him. But of this team with lots of kind of top-quality, world-class players, there are some questions there. Of course, I say all of that. We have got Hamada just kind of chilling out and waiting in the wings, the 20-year-old Syrian goalkeeper. He's got a little bit of potential about him, potentially. He's better at shot stopping. He's better aerially. The only thing he really lacks compared to Toby is distribution. Maybe I need to start giving him a few more opportunities. You can see he did make 15 appearances. I did give him some game time. It's a bit of a juggling act, I think, right now in terms of getting in young players and actually affording them game time to grow. Our squad right now is not a small one by any means. It's currently 30 players, of course. Some of the players further down here, players like Benavides, they're players who I've promoted into this team, really just to be able to keep tabs on them and have them training with the first team. I would love next year to start giving Bill Summers some game time, really try and fast track him into the first team because I do just absolutely adore the look of him. He looks incredible. Maybe lacking a bit in the mentals department, but at 17 years old, he's got so much room to grow. I think it's kind of hard not to get a little bit excited about him. In previous Park to Prems, I used to do a little award ceremony where we'd kind of have like my player of the year, my most improved player, and my clubman. Kind of 3 little awards. The clubman goes to the player who's been a loyal servant for the longest, a player who's stuck around, been chilling out, maybe doesn't always get the limelight. And for that this year, I'm going to give it to Gary Healey. Didn't make an appearance for us this year, but he's just chilling. He's just, for 4 years, he's just chilled. He helps with the homegrown quota. He's an okay little deep line playmaker, the kind of player who maybe I should look to sell on because he's unhappy. He's lost trust in me. Do I want him to be clubman? It may be the last time we see him. So yeah, he is clubman, everyone. I think most improved player probably has to go to Poyana. He improved a lot this year, kind of surpassed all my expectations. Loaned him back to Romania last year, thinking he's not really ready for the first team here in the Premier League. This year we gave him a chance, and he took that chance. And whilst he slowed down a little bit as the season went on, there's no denying that his goal contributions early on in the year really did make a big difference for us. And as for my player of the year, I've got to give it to Gonzalez, who I know some people would probably be screaming at to get the most improved player. But no, we'll give him player of the year. 31 goals in 32. Such a shame that he got injured. But at 23 years old, he's still improving a little bit. He has the makings of just a pretty perfect advance forward. Not a single attribute related to the role below a 15. If he can stay fit, if he can keep performing as consistently as he did this year when he was fit, we've got a player here who for the next 10 years can lead the line at this club and really we can build around. And obviously I've kind of backed him, I suppose, in that regard with the massive wage that he's now on. £170,000 on a long-term deal, but I think it's going to be very difficult to replace him if that was something I even wanted to consider doing. Anyway, you can see here we've got a stadium expansion on the way. Obviously, expectations for next year for me, I want to win the Premier League again. I think it's going to be tough. I want to go far in the Champions League as well, of course. A few years ago, we got to the quarterfinals, was it? I think it was the quarterfinals. Yeah, quarterfinals, lost to Real Madrid 4-3 on aggregate. It was a fantastically close game if we just look at the history of past winners. They unfortunately... they did go on to win it, Real Madrid, so they are a very good team. We pushed them far, but they beat Barcelona in the final. I guess the current final hasn't been played yet. It's going to be Lyon v Barcelona. I don't know who I'm backing for that one. I'm going for Lyon. We'll find out next time if they manage to win it. Anyway, gang, that's going to wrap up this from me. Great squad. Very happy with it. Lots to build on for next year. Delighted with some super surprising standout players. And I hope to catch you guys for next season. We'll be back in just a couple of days. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.